Sid, thank you very much for joining SSON today. Now, aligning procurement and finance is a hot topic amongst our SSON members. What's driving this evolution? And if you could give two pieces of advice for our audience on how to align these two functions, what would they be?
I think it's quite interesting. I don't think it's an evolution, it's probably more of a revolution. What we're seeing today is that both finance and procurement seem to talk different languages, and talking that different language means that there's a very, very siloed effect in terms of their thinking. And of course, for a business to actually achieve the goals in terms of process efficiency, compliance and good governance, we do need these two pivotal departments to start communicating together. And so what we're seeing in the marketplace, and this has been happening over the last 10 years I would suggest, is that these folks are beginning to speak the same language. There's still quite a journey for them to go on because there's different targets and different stakeholders and different requirements. But certainly businesses are actually gaining significant benefit of both procurement and finance becoming aligned. And what we're seeing also in the marketplace, which is quite a step change, is that procurement seem to be now taking responsibility for accounts payable. And that drives through a lot of benefits and compliance elements in terms of cost savings, quality of PO improvement, of PO compliance, and reduction, more importantly, of exceptions which actually add to the burden of AP and shared services.
Spend analytics, is this the way forward from transactional to strategic procurement? Can you spend a minute or so discussing how one can achieve the greatest insight, what this should look like, and how they can use it for maximum benefit?
Well, I think in life you can only measure what you can see, and unfortunately in a lot of situations what we're finding is the lack of spend data that enable procurement to do the deep analysis that will help them do their jobs better for the benefit of the organisation, particularly in cost reductions, synergistic purchasing and containment of cost. And so what we're finding in the marketplace is that there is a great drive to get as much spend data together centrally and get people complying and actually reporting intelligently and in a timely fashion and in the right manner to ensure that the procurement folks can actually review the spend analytics, look at trend analysis and look at opportunities and actually deliver significant benefits to the buying organisation.
And what's the next big thing on the procurement agenda?
Next big thing on the procurement agenda? Well, that's a very, very big question. I think that everybody's driving for better cost, lower costs, process improvement, process efficiency, and that's what shared service organisations are all about, is delivering that change. The biggest challenge I would see in the market is winning the hearts and minds of the people out in the business units and the folks that are out there. They're humans, they're full of emotions and fears and tend not to like change. And so what we think is the most appropriate methodology is to approach the change management piece much more intelligently and put your arms around it and take more ownership for it. Because as soon as you can bring the people along the journey with you and they understand what the core deliverables and the outcomes are, the better it is going to be for the business. So I think change management and behavioural change is a key factor.
We often hear that the CPO role is the most difficult job today. Any comment as to the changing role of procurement and what our executives need to plan for?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I would suggest that most executives in the organisation think they've got the most difficult job in the world. But I would have thought from a CPO's perspective, trying to get his arms around that total overall cost of the business and the strategy in terms of procurement and ensuring that from a contractual perspective that they're meeting the compliance requirements of the business is a huge task. There's a tremendous amount of drive towards purchasing compliance and control, and what we're seeing there's a great deal of, I would consider, professionalism coming into the industry, and some very, very talented individuals coming into the buying organisations to deliver the expectation of excellence.
Thanks very much for your time today, Sid.